Hi, it's Jenny at the Literal Everyday of Jenny. A review of two books, very different books. One is part of a series and one is a standalone. The part of the series is a children's book and the standalone is a YA or tween book. So I'll start with the children's book. That's an e-book, hence the e-reader showing. But I'll show you the real cover here of the book I've read, but this is the Swedish cover. It's a translation from English, I believe, and here is the English cover, or American cover, or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, here's the English cover. The book is called Afternoon on the Amazon. It's written by Mary Pope Osborne. It's part 6 in the series The Magic Treehouse. So yeah, I'll probably be spoiling a bit, sorry about that, of the earlier parts when I talk about this one. So if you want to skip this bit, then forward a bit so you can see the other book instead. It's funny because in the Swedish version they've changed the names of the children. In the Swedish one, the siblings, the brother and sister, are called Victor and Hannah, but in the English book it's called they are called Jack and Annie. So yeah, Jack and Annie, I think they're, if I'm not mistaken, they're about 8 and 7 years old. Jack is the older one. One day they discover a treehouse in the village where they live. It's called Frog Bay, if you translate the Swedish word. I haven't looked up what their village is called in English, sorry. But yeah, they discover that, and in that treehouse there are a lot of books. And I think it's Annie who opens a book and by mistake says that I wish I was there, and the treehouse starts spinning, and yeah, they end up at that time and place where the picture in the book is, the time period, so to speak. That's how the series starts. This is, as I said, the 6th part, and they've discovered who owns the magic house, and that person needs help because it seems like she has been kidnapped or something like that. She's a magic librarian from King Arthur's time, and to save her, they have to Jack and Annie have to find 4 things. In the last part, in the 5th part, I don't know what it's called in English, sorry. They find a moonstone, I think, or something like that. In this one, they end up in the Amazon, or on the Amazon, and there they get help from a little mouse and an ape, and yeah, and they go on an adventure. I really like this series. It's a good children's book, and it's one that the children can read for themselves. I think in Sweden they put it for the target group for the book is children between 6 and 9, I think. And they can read it themselves. That's the great part. And I really love the fact that in this book, when they encounter things, people, what's it called? Animals and stuff like that, they sort of put in little facts about those things, so the children can learn from these books as well. So yeah, I really like it. I gave it 3 cups of tea, I think, on Goodreads, or stars on Goodreads, and cups of tea on my Swedish blog. So yeah, I really recommend it, especially if you have children who is in the target group. So let them read the books themselves or read out loud to them. So yeah, that's Afternoon on the Amazon by Mary Pope Osborne. The other book I want to talk about is Nick and Norah's Infinite Playlist. I read this one in Swedish. It's by Rachel Cohn and David Levithan. It's a book that takes place in New York during one night. Nick is a bass player in a queercore band, I think. He's just broken up with his girlfriend, or rather, she broke up with him. And his band is playing at a place, I don't know where. And he sees his ex with a new guy, and he's crushed. So after they've played, when he's packed up the instruments and so on and so forth, he goes to the bar. He's only 16, so he can't order any alcoholic beverages, but there he turns to a girl and says, "Please be my girlfriend for the coming 5 minutes." And she's like, "What's this?" And then she says yes. That's the start of this book. That girl is Norah, by the way. So yeah, they end up spending the night rumbling around in New York and doing stuff and thinking through things and playing music, going to places where bands are playing, and yeah, they do a lot of things, and it's a soft YA tween book. It wasn't the best one I've read by Rachel Cohn and David Levithan. I've read Dash and Lily's Book of Dares last Christmas, and I loved that one. This one I only gave 3 cups of tea because it wasn't as good, but it's well worth the time you spend on reading it. So I recommend it. But read it in English. That's my my opinion. I think it's better in English than in Swedish. It sounds a bit, not boring, childish almost at times, but yeah, it's an interesting book, interesting perspectives, sorry, and Rachel and David has written it very well. It's interesting to see how they can write and think up how the teenagers, they're only 16, sorry, these characters, it's interesting to see how they describe the thoughts the teenagers have, and yeah, it's an interesting book, but it's barely 200 pages, so it's a quick read if you want something contemporary and like now for the summer. So yeah, read it if you want to. I liked it. Not super much, but I liked it. So yeah, I recommend it. Nick and Norah's Infinite Playlist by Rachel Cohn and David Levithan. That's all. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!